Over in the space of Marvel Comics, one of the publisher's most compelling villains is none other than the Ultimate Comics version of Reed Richards, now known as the Maker. After the Maker had so much ripped away from him, he started scheming in Ultimate Invasion Issue 1 against Marvel's Illuminati, gathering up artifacts to recreate his vision of the Marvel Universe. My name is Ariko Braddock, and today, let's go ahead and dive into the pages of Ultimate Invasion number 2 to see how successful Reed is over in his plan. But before we dive deeper into the video, I want to encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the like button over on this video. The Maker plans to make sure Earth's mightiest heroes never become heroes at all, and then he can reshape the universe into exactly what he wants it to be. Ultimate Invasion Issue 2 is written from Jonathan Hickman, featuring art from Bryan Hitch, inks from Andrew Currie, colors from Alex Sinclair, letters from VC's Joe Caramagna, and we have a cover in the issue coming in over from Bryan Hitch and Alex Sinclair. Here's a look over at the second issue's cover for Ultimate Invasion. Really think it's interesting how some of the characters of the Ultimate Universe are returning over on this cover. Want to extend a thank you to Adventures in Poor Taste for posting these previews in a very timely manner here. And let's start by exploring some of the artwork in the issue over from artist Bryan Hitch. Hitch does a great job lending so much detail towards the various kind of cityscapes over in Manhattan, as well as the extensive cast that he's tasked with illustrating over in the series. One thing I want to say about Hickman's writing over in Ultimate Invasion 2 is this is yet again a book filled with talking head sequence with really vast kind of cavernous conversations filled with so much dialogue that introduces various themes over in the story. I think Hitch is so great at really individual pieces of facial details to make even the most kind of irreverent piece of information look like a really important aspect over in the series. I thought some of these opening pages in the storyline featuring the Maker kind of revising the origins of various Marvel heroes were also rendered with a lot of intrigue from Hitch, especially this panel of Asgard featuring so many of the different Asgardian characters as well as the Odinson and Loki. I also really appreciated some of the illustrations for ideas like the city that Reed Richards is also occupied at one point or another. But as we mentioned up top here, it's really the facial work in the issue that inspires so much emotion from me. There's some surprise Marvel Universe characters that I didn't expect to see coming in the issue. They have a really extended conversation, and Hickman really doesn't shy away from letting them have a really long and nuanced speech that occupies so much of the series. I especially like watching Reed Richards' reaction over to this character and learning about what his overall schemes are in the series. Over from the scripting perspective, the way Jonathan Hickman has plotted out Ultimate Invasion 2 has been really interesting to me. That being said, though, I wish there was a few more indications and more of like a plot summary of the issue so that new readers are able to catch up to speed here. I think it's going to be a really gargantuan task for a new comic book reader to pick up Ultimate Invasion over on the shelves and immediately know what's going on, even starting from the first issue. Hickman did a fantastic job reintroducing some of the context behind the end of the first issue within some of the opening sequences of the issue. I also like how Hitch paced some of these sequences. I thought it brought a really kind of foreboding and sinister nature to the title, and that same sort of theme was explored within the cliffhanger of the story that opened up some new story possibilities within the context of Ultimate Invasion. Very intrigued at what the Maker is building in terms of Earth 6160. So at the end of the day here, I think Ultimate Invasion is still on track to tell a thoughtful and fascinating narrative, not only exploring what the foundations of the new Ultimate Universe are, but also featuring a deep dive into the character of the Maker. If you're telling a story centered around the Ultimate Universe, I wouldn't necessarily expect for the maker to be your lead protagonist, but the subversive nature of putting him in that position is really what's making me attracted to this series and title as a whole. I hope moving forward that Marvel continues to kind of shake up the status quos over on these upcoming Ultimate books to introduce as much intrigue here as possible. And I love the fact that we're not reading the same story again. We're not simply getting in Ultimates, 4 or 5 here, but this is the next kind of culmination of the Marvel Universe, really weaving in some of those elements from recent continuity as well as previous Jonathan Hickman stories to build Ultimates towards something interesting. I want to know from you, did you like this issue as much as I did? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for coming to check out our review over on Ultimate Invasion issue 2, and we'll be back to cover everything Ultimates and Jonathan Hickman here in the near future. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.